Sassy Eliot.
Hank.
Sassy Eliot.
Girl. Oh, yeah. Song that's taken over the country. Sassy Eliot. Eliot Shorr-Parks joins us. It's the WIP Afternoon Show with Ike, Spike, and Fritz's Call-In, brought to you by Robin Ford. Online at robinford.com. There's no stopping the Robin. Hey, Eliot.
Spike, you all ready for the snow this weekend? You prepared?
Oh, yeah. There it is. You're ready for it. I was on the phone earlier. I think the guy was in Tampa, and he's like, so, you ready? Yeah, dude. I'm just like, I have a net over my roof, and it's going to prevent all the snow from landing. We're all doing it in Philly. We're all standing outside of our houses with a giant net and a pole. So, do you find now you are a city dweller? Do you find this to me?
This can't be fun for you.
Yeah. What do you think? Is it more annoying or exciting?
No, I love it. For me, it's fun for a couple reasons. One, it's just going to look cool and there's a lot of snow out there. But two, like, I'm a contentsman, and I love when everybody is talking about the same thing. So all week, all the preparation for the snow, then it'll snow, and there'll be a bunch of cool videos online of the snow. Then there'll be videos after. Like, so I'm in on it. Whenever there's a big thing happening, like, that excites me. So I'm excited for the snow. Well,
and also, it's sort of a two-pronged thing for anybody that lives in the city. If you live in the city and you have to eventually get out or drive somewhere or whatever, it's a pain in the ass. You, I imagine, are excited to just, like, go to bars and hang out. And
exactly.
Well, come on.
It is going to impact my gym in the morning, but also, like, I'll just Uber everywhere. If I have to go anywhere, I'll just call an Uber.
Oh my God, Eliot.
Oh my God.
Do you understand that if the streets are impossible to cross,
it's just as bad.
Yeah, Uber doesn't. The cars don't float over the snow. Well,
but
Max
I don't have to shovel my car out though.
Well, that's true.
That's already shoveled out. So I'll just
Max, our video guy earlier was saying, it's like, well, if I'm hungry, I'll just DoorDash. And I'm like, Max,
yeah, exactly.
The car's not going to be able to get to you.
And think of the DoorDash drivers.
Yeah,
they'll be out there.
Well, you bet.
Well, yeah, they'll be making a lot of money. I'll tell you.
Well,
it'll be a big weekend.
Tip the hell out of your DoorDash.
Yeah, make sure you
drivers.
tip big, Eliot.
Yeah. So, Eliot,
Yeah,
we have so much offensive coordinator stuff to talk to you about. Also want to talk to you about the Christin Parker thing. What do you think of the Jeremy Fowler note that he is not so sure that Brian Daboll is out on the Eagles job?
So, if I'm the Eagles, like, I'm out on Daboll. Like, if you don't want to come here, like, if you want to see if you can get the Bills job and you want to see if you can get the Titans job, and if that doesn't work out, then maybe you'll come here, like, I'm good, right? So I actually think they should just move on at this point. Like, if they had an interview and the report the next morning after they met was, yeah, it's not going to be Daboll, then I don't really want him as, like, a fallback option. So I was never in on the idea to begin with. I didn't think Daboll was, like, a slam dunk hire or someone that was going to come in and change it. But, yeah, the way this is all played out, like, I would rather go with, my guy. I'm happy I convinced you guys. Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah.
Have they even interviewed him yet? Have they interviewed him yet?
They requested it. I don't know if it's happened, but they requested it.
So push back a little bit against what you just said. Aren't the Eagles doing their due diligence?
Right.
I mean, I don't know if they offered Brian Daboll the job. I mean, they're interviewing other candidates. They didn't say he's our number one guy. We're offering you X amount of dollars, X amount of power. You should take this job. First of all, any coach, any one of these assistant coaches, if they get an opportunity to interview for a head coaching job, they're going to do it. So the Eagles would basically have no candidates, especially not any of the top candidates, because they're all interviewing for head coaching jobs.
Yeah, so I think that's fair. My thing is more just how it's played out in terms of the exact next morning after the interview. It was, no, that's not going to happen. So that's just me, though. Like, again, and I don't really like the Daboll idea anyway. So I'm prone to not being in on it regardless.
Yeah. See, this is how you get. When it's not your guy, the guy you want, you're out on everybody else.
Well,
that makes no sense.
Yeah, I also think, to Ike's point, you're sort of, now this portends the Eagles thinking Brian Daboll is their number one candidate. If they think he's the number one candidate, whether he wanted to go to Buffalo or Tennessee or not, if they have an opportunity to hire him, they shouldn't, cut off their nose to spite their face and say, wow, you might have wanted to go somewhere else. That part of the reasoning, not wanting Daboll is fine, whatever.
Get out of your feels there, E. Get out of your feelings.
I don't even like if the Mike McDaniel thing where he's going to be the Chargers OC, but now he's interviewing in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I would find that very off-putting as well. If I were the Chargers, I'd be like, no, I'm good then. Like, you can just go try
Why?
to get a job.
Why?
Because I think it's important that whoever comes into this job is all in and wants to be with
this
the Eagles.
isn't college. They're not recruiting kids. He's going to be the head. Well, no, they aren't. Because first of all, they draft kids. And here's the other thing. Everybody goes where the money is at. And here's the third thing. It's Los Angeles. So they want him. If he's the best offensive mind out there and they want him bad enough, but he's saying, you know what? I'll come, but do me the solid of letting me at least interview or an opportunity to be a head coach somewhere else. Then they could just go hire someone else to be the OC. There aren't any team meetings. There's nothing being installed right now. I mean, the Eagles could hire an OC tomorrow. He won't even see the damn team till March or April.
Yeah, I don't think they should be in a rush to hire somebody. I do think that interviewing a bunch of people, making connections around the league, like I think they can use that to their advantage now. What I'm saying is, whoever they do hire, I want it to feel, if I'm the Eagles, like that's the job they want. That's the job they've wanted the whole time. Like this whole interviewing for other jobs while you've already essentially agreed to another in Mike McDaniel, I just find it very off-putting.
And it's one-sided. It's one-sided. That's one-sided. That's looking at everything from the Eagles' point of view.
But
what about
the Eagles have to look
No,
at
they
it.
don't, and that's silly. First of all, they've never done that. They've never done that. The guys they've hired as head coaches were the last guys they probably interviewed or thought they were going to hire. They interviewed a bunch of other guys that they wanted who didn't want the job for whatever reason, and they settled on those guys.
If I'm not mistaken, Doug Peterson and Nick Sirianni only interviewed with one team, right?
Yeah, because those are only teams that wanted them.
Eagles.
Yeah, and then nobody else was going to hire Nick Sirianni.
I don't view the position as important enough where I feel this franchise needs to bend for these candidates. Like,
what I'm saying,
then I don't think they should have interest.
No, what I'm saying is, no, it's not that they don't want to come here. It's that there may be a better opportunity as a head coach somewhere. Now, if you were saying they're just jumping at different OC interviews, that's one thing, but I'm not going to hold it against one of these guys because they may have an opportunity to be a head coach somewhere.
Well, and to your point, we don't even know if they offered him the job.
Yeah, we don't even know if the Eagles offered him the job.
Correct, but we can only go off of what we know, right? And what we know, according to Diana Rossini, is the day after the interview, the report was the Eagles are moving forward as if it's not going to be Daboll. If he doesn't get the Bills job, he's going to take the Titans OC job.
Yeah.
I find that off-putting.
Even if they didn't offer him the job.
Yeah, even if they didn't offer him the job.
So what's he supposed to do, Eliot? He has an interview with the Eagles. He's got to be employed next year, right? So he has an interview. No. Hold on.
You should go to the Titans.
Hold on. He has an interview with the Eagles. They don't offer him the job. He knows that in this cycle he's going to have to get a job. They tell him we might not know for 2 weeks.
Right.
Well, Brian Daboll.
What are you supposed to do?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's stop living in hypothetical world. Let's just live on what we know, which is the next morning after the interview with the Eagles, it was reported that they're moving forward, and if Daboll doesn't get the Bills job, he's taking the Titans OC job, right? All last week it was Daboll doesn't want the Eagles job. Or sorry, I guess this week. Daboll doesn't want the Eagles job. None of the top coordinators want the Eagles job, right? So I agree. In a world where the Eagles didn't offer him and they're still talking, like, sure, you can paint that picture. But what we know is the day after, it seems like the two sides moved on. If Daboll doesn't get the Bills job and the Titans job falls through, I'm not interested in someone calling back and saying, hey, it actually didn't work out. You want to talk again? Like, that's not appealing to me.
All right. The Eagles did get permission to interview Declan Doyle, the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. Does not call plays, and you have said you wouldn't hire a 29-year-old because now that you're 38, you cannot see anyone. My question more is about your, I guess, just tea leaf reading or your opinion of the Eagles organization. Do you think they would rather have a hot shot that might turn into something great, or a Brian Nagy also ran that is more stable but also has a lower ceiling?
So it's a great question. And I think if we removed the specifics of this offensive coordinator job, I think it's very clear they would side more with the candidate like Declan Doyle than a Matt Nagy. Like they have never hired a retread at head coach, if I'm not mistaken. Like Nick was, a guy who had not had the job. He was a young coordinator. Doug had never been a head coach. Andy had never been a head coach. Chip was coming to the NFL. So, like, they have always sided with the new guy as opposed to kind of like the older retread type of coach. But I think in this instance, like they would maybe lean more towards experience because they just fired Kevin Patullo for this exact reason. Like they fired Brian Johnson for the exact reason of like they hadn't had experience, and then the first year it didn't work out. So I think holistically, like I think Jeffery, Lurie, and Howie would definitely lean towards a Declan Doyle type of candidate. And I think that's, if you make 10 hires and you lean with that guy like 8 out of 10 times, you'll end up with a great staff. But I do wonder if in this case, with kind of the urgency to win next year, if they would lean more towards like a Matt Nagy or someone in the middle, like a Jim Bob Cooter or like a Mike Kafka.
You know what is interesting that we never knew, and maybe we'll know at some point, is how high on Patullo, Howie, and Lurie were. And I think it is informative in this part of the conversation is you could say that they don't want to go for a guy who has not had play calling responsibilities before because look what happened with Patullo. But if the truth is that Howie and Lurie were on Patullo and Nick Sirianni was very high, the fact that Patullo failed on it may not factor in at all because they might think, well, we never really thought really that highly of Patullo anyway. That was Nick's idea.
I mean, I do think just tea leaf reading, I never got the sense that Howie and Jeffrey were super high on Patullo. Like they passed over him in favor of Kellen Moore, right? They went for someone there. I think at that point, like Patullo probably wanted the job. And, they didn't interview last time. Like they just gave it to him, which speaks to like, all right, it's kind of his turn. And they fired him after 1 year. So they've never shown like a willingness to stick by Patullo. And an example I would use is Michael Clay, the special teams coordinator. Like there was a ton of pressure after that Super Bowl to fire Michael Clay. Like everyone wanted him gone. And the Eagles stuck by him, and he's turned out to be a pretty good special teams coordinator. So when the Eagles believe in somebody, I do think they're willing to ride it out. They did it with Nick, right? Like there's been pressure to fire Nick. The fact that at the first chance they kind of could, they fired Patullo after passing on him a few times, I think tells us what they probably think of him, or at least Jeffrey and Howie.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't, I
still
don't
feel
know
like
either way.
I still feel like he was a sacrificial lamb. I don't know if them firing him really is a true indicator of how they felt about him when they hired him. Somebody had to take the fall for this season and the offense and everything else. And quite frankly, Kevin Patullo is the only person who took the fall on the staff. Everybody else has kept their job, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think anybody else got fired.
Yeah, and look, I think that's a fair way to look at it. You could be right about that. I just mean they did not give him the job before when they had the chance, and they fired him after a year. I tend to agree with you that if you asked Jeffrey, Howie, Nick, and like people in that building what's the real reason the offense struggled last year, I don't think Patullo would get the most votes. So I think there is that sacrificial part, but I also think there is a part of like moving forward, how much do they really believe in him? And I think we've kind of gotten our answer on that.
So, Eliot, two more. One OC related and then one Christin Parker related. Phillip Rivers, it seems like there is interest with the Bills as hiring him as a head coach. Would you consider Phillip Rivers as a good candidate for offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles?
So I think the Eagles would. I mean, Nick coached him just from being around Nick over the years. He always talks like super highly of Phillip Rivers. So I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world either.
It is the craziest thing in the world.
Would I do it? No, I would not hire him.
Eliot, it's okay to say it's the craziest. The guy was on a high school sideline last year somewhere.
Well, he's interviewing for the Bills job.
That's their problem. That don't mean we have to be. Hold on. That don't mean we have to be dumb as well. Like that's their problem. I don't know if I would have fired a coach that been in the playoffs 8 straight years either, without a true plan on who you're going to hire next. Right? Like you're going from Sean McDermott, who's been a couple conference championship games, 5 straight divisional titles, to Phillip Rivers. That seems smart.
If I were the Bills, I wouldn't hire him. I agree.
If you're the Eagles, you don't hire Phillip Rivers for what?
I wouldn't hire him. I would not hire him. I would go with Jim Bob Cooter. Like that's who I would hire.
Phillip
But
Rivers.
I think that because of Nick's connection to
This
Phillip
city
Rivers,
just went crazy
slightly
about
more
Kevin
likely.
Patullo being a first-time hire, never called plays, threw eggs at his house, got him out of here, and we're going to hire somebody who's never even coached at the college or pro level.
It's kind of exciting, though.
To run our offense,
That's a Hall of Famer right there.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Can I ask you guys a Patullo question quickly?
God, if we don't hurry up and hire this OC, man.
Nah, I kind of like the
11.
Phillip Rivers.
Day
idea.
11.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers. Okay. What's your Patullo question?
So just quickly, right?
Yes.
When we've talked about Daboll and McDaniel over the past week, 2 weeks, whatever, it's been, well, they didn't have the players in Miami, New York, right? Like the players weren't good enough, but they're great offensive minds, but their players weren't good enough. Why is Patullo not afforded that same excuse?
Well, but
why is it that the Eagles' offense failed strictly because of Patullo to some,
But-
but then McDaniel and Daboll didn't fail because it
we agree with you. We agree with you, though. We're all on the same page.
Yes.
We all think Kevin Patullo. That there's the one line is I think it would be ignorant to say that he was the first or even the second biggest issue with the Eagles offense. But I think it is also fair to say that he clearly didn't have any answers. So, and I think it's possible that.
Well, I mean, the head coach is right there with him.
Well, no. I agree.
He didn't have any answers either.
I agree. I just think I think that what might have happened with Patullo is it got so hot here so quickly. And he maybe got tight because he hadn't been in that situation before, and there were so many dynamics he had no control over. So, but I agree with you. I think we're all on the same page, in that everyone talking about Kevin Patullo has too many hitch routes, he's dumb, he doesn't know anything about offense, is just it is an easy out for everyone, and it is not really the biggest problem with the Eagles' offense.
Yeah, and what you just said there, too, is why you can't hire a 29-year-old. I mean, just
I
the
agree.
public
Yeah.
pressure
I agree.
to put that guy in front of this offense would be insane.
So final thing, Christin Parker going to the Dallas Cowboys as defensive coordinator. How big of a loss do you think that is for the Eagles?
So I definitely think it's a loss. I think that teaching the cornerback position, like the rules are already against the cornerbacks, right? The rules all tend towards the offense. It's a tough position to play. The rules are just strict there. So I think teaching the position is really hard. And I just know from talking to these secondary guys over the past 2 years how highly they think of him. So I definitely think it's a big loss. But I think another interesting component of him going to Dallas is what players from the Eagles will he take with him? Because he will bring some of like his guys, right, to help set the culture in Dallas, guys that he knows can do what he wants. And the two guys I would look at that are probably on the bubble or maybe even unlikely to be back, but would be Nakobe Dean and Reed Blankenship. Like two guys that he can put
agents.
Reed in the they're free agents. He can put him in. Reed can be the starting safety. He knows what Christin Parker likes to do. Christin Parker has a firsthand kind of look at what Nakobe does for a locker room and for a defense that might not show up on tape. So I think those are two guys that I would keep an eye on to potentially go to the Cowboys next year.
So final thing, and everybody's asking this question.
Christin Parker going to go down there to Dallas and find out Jerry Jones decides who's on the team.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that could be true.
Yeah. So everyone's talking about this in the streets, Eliot. They're talking about it in the building. They're talking about it in the NovaCare facility. Is there so much going on with the Eagles? The head coach, the OC interviews, this, that, and the other. How are your scoops developing in this situation for Eagles Insider of the Year, which is hotly contested?
No, it's a great question. I mean, look, I think as a reporter, I have to know my strengths and weaknesses. In season, I'm great. Training camp, I'm great. Free agency, I'm already laying the groundwork to try to swoop in and win this award. The coaching thing it's just never been my strength in my whole time covering the Eagles. It's a different type of reporting. So I can accept that. But I think come free agency, I'm feeling good about where things are headed.
Oh, wow.
Come free agency. We don't have any money.
Yeah, you get another scoop about Dallas Goedert getting traded.
Another Ojulari scoop.
I had the Aziz one, and that my Goddard reporting was correct the entire time.
That was incorrect.
You said they were going to get a draft pick for him.
They would have if they wouldn't have. If they were going to draft a tight end and it fell through.
You and all those other Eagles reporters got worked on the Dallas Goedert thing. You didn't use your eyes.
Correct.
You didn't use your eyes.
Yeah. And by the way, I'll be correct again, hopefully, because he'll be a free agent.
All right.
Well, hopefully he's back.
Yeah. And
Can
him.
I give you guys something that doesn't matter anymore? By the way.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. For next question. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. How about passing yards and passing touchdowns?
Gone. Gone. You know it doesn't matter anymore? Your training camp stats. You know it doesn't matter anymore? Turnovers win. If you win the turnover battle, out of there.